it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing my second unhaul video. I did my first unhaul video towards the beginning of the year, and some of those books I said I was going to put in storage, like I was just going to put them in a box, put them in the attic or whatever, and then if I still wanted to read them when I opened up the box again, then I was going to keep them, but most of them I didn't want to keep anymore, so some of these are going to be repeats, but some of them are books that weren't in my last unhaul video. Most of them I think weren't in my last video. I don't really remember, but yeah, anyways, so these are all books that I'm just not really interested in anymore. They have been sitting on my shelf forever and I just don't see myself ever reading them. So I figure why not give them a better home. I'm not sure where I'm going to donate them yet. Possibly a book sale, maybe like a library or something like that. I'm not really too sure. I need to look into it a little bit more. But yeah, let's get into it. And one more thing, as much as I would love to send these to you guys, I can't. I'm sorry. It would cost me literally probably all of my vital organs to send these books from my little home in Canada to wherever you guys live all over the world. So as much as I would love to give them to you, I'm really sorry, but it is just way too expensive, and they are already going to be donated by the time this video is up. And without further ado, let's get started. So first I have Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. This, like many of the other books that I'm going to be showing you later, was one that I bought on a whim off of Book Outlet because it was $1.99. I had no interest in this story. I was just like, it's $1.99, so why not? But I'm never gonna read it. I don't want to force myself to sit down and read this book. The plot doesn't interest me at all. I know a lot of people really love it and maybe it's a great book, but it just doesn't really seem like something that I would like, so there's really no sense in keeping it. Next is What's Left of Me and Once We Were by Kat Zhang. These books were just kind of average. I read both of them and I'm not really interested in the conclusion to the trilogy. I don't know, I wasn't that like thrilled with the books. They were just basically average, so I figure why keep them on my shelf when maybe someone else would enjoy them more than I did. Next is The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Wecker. I just don't see myself reading this anytime soon. Maybe when I'm older I might read it. It's really big and it has super tiny font, so it's going to be a really big time investment, and I just don't see myself wanting to put in the time to a book that I'm just like kind of semi-interested in right now. So this one I may end up picking up in the future, but for right now it's gonna go. Next is Say What You Will by Cami McGovern. I read this book and I absolutely hated it. I just could not stand it. I just thought it was so juvenile and just, I had a lot of issues with it. I did have a review up, but I took it down because it was just too ranty, and yeah, so long story short, I didn't really like this book and I'm hoping that someone else may like it more than I did. Next is Faking Normal by Courtney C. Stevens. I bought this book off of Book Outlet once again, just kind of on a whim, not knowing what the subject matter was about, and I'm just not really comfortable reading about what the plot is about, so I'm not going to keep it and force myself to read something that is not going to be good for my mental state, so I'm going to give it to someone else who might enjoy it more. Next is Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. I've heard really mediocre things about this series and I just don't know if I would really like it. I read Fallen by Lauren Kate and I didn't really like it, and I also read the Unearthly trilogy by Cynthia Hand and it was just kind of okay, and all of those are angel books, so I don't really know if I'm just not into the angel thing, but I just haven't heard like fantastic things about this one. I think I would have liked it more like had I been younger, but I just don't think I would really like it so much now. Next is A Need So Beautiful by Suzanne Young. This is another angel book, and this one I just know I'm not gonna like. It just seems corny and just like something I'm not gonna enjoy at all. Next is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Before you freak out, I want to get the hardcover of this since I have the rest of the series in the hardcover, so, and this copy I just don't like. It doesn't match anything about my other ones, and it's just the font is like so tiny in it. I just don't really like this copy, so I'm going to get the hardcover one eventually. Next is Slammed by Colleen Hoover. I read this book and I just didn't really enjoy it, and I just don't really want to keep it. A lot of people really love this book, so I figure giving it away, someone will probably end up loving it. Next is the Visions trilogy by Lisa McMahon. So it is Crash, Bang, and Gasp, and I've just heard kind of mediocre things about it. A lot of people have told me just not to waste my time on it. They are super tiny books, so it would be nice to read them, but if it's not going to be something I'm going to enjoy, I'm not going to waste my time on it. But this one I'm kind of debating about, so if you read it, let me know your thoughts on it, and maybe I will end up keeping it. I'm not too sure. Next is The Ghost Bride by Youngzi Chu. This is another one that is similar to The Golem and the Jinni. This is an adult book, and I just don't think the subject matter really interests me at the moment, so this one I might end up picking up again sometime when I'm older, but I'm just not really too interested in it right now. Next is The Distance Between Us by Casey West. The subject matter of this just doesn't really interest me. It's about a couple where one of them is rich and one of them is poor, so there's kind of this class divide that they can't be together, and I'm just not really too interested in that. I don't know, I just think it's kind of unrealistic with like a modern day novel, so I don't know, just not too interested in it. I know a lot of people really love it, but maybe someone else will love it when I give it away. Next is Immortal City by Scott Speer. I got this in the whirlwind of when I first discovered BookTube. It was one of the like over 50 books that I just bought off of Book Outlet and basically every single bookstore. Yeah, when you start BookTube, there's like, when you first discover it, there's just this crazy thing that happens. You find all these books and you just have to buy all of them. So I had seen this one in a video. I know it's about angels, but I don't really know much else about it, and I just don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I don't know, I haven't really heard anything about it, and I don't think it really interests me anymore. It was just kind of bought on a whim. Next is Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. I just don't think I'm into the whole mermaid thing, so yeah, I know a lot of people really love this, but I don't think I would. Next is Red Glove by h.leblanc. This is the second book, I think, something like that, in the Curse Workers trilogy, and I bought it without having the other books, and I just don't think it's worth buying the other books to be able to read this one, so yeah. These last few I know a lot of you are going to get really mad at me for, so the first one is Through the Evernight and Into the Still Blue by Veronica Rossi. I read the first book in this series and I had expected it to be a sci-fi, but it was actually a dystopian, and I just thought the world building was awful and I just didn't really enjoy the story all that much, so no sense in kind of putting myself through the rest of the trilogy if I didn't really enjoy the first one and I'm not really interested in it. And next is the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So I have the Beginnings bind up, the Consequences bind up, and the final book Opposition. I read the first book of this series. I read Obsidian last year and I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't really remember too much about it, and then I started trying to read Onyx the other day and I couldn't even finish it. It's the first book that I've ever DNF'd. I just couldn't do it. It was all like, everyone had kissable lips, like so stupid, and like I just felt like it was kind of objectifying. I don't know, I was just really uncomfortable reading it. Like everyone was just so hot and sexy and ooh la la, like I just couldn't do it. The only thing that I liked about it was the fact that the main character is a book blogger. I did really enjoy that, but other than that, I just couldn't force myself to get through it, so I'm going to get rid of the rest of the series because I know a lot of people really love it, so I'm sure it will find a nice and loving home. And on that same note, I'm getting rid of White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is actually a signed copy of it too, so someone is going to get a lovely surprise when they pick this one up. So yeah, I don't think I really like Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing a lot. I know she writes a lot about like sexy like men who are like, this one I think they're demons. I just don't think I'm gonna enjoy it. I think I've kind of outgrown that whole phase, so yeah, it's gonna go to a nice loving home. These next books I'm not 100% for sure getting rid of. These are just the ones that lately have been on my TBR and I've kind of been considering getting rid of them. So if you have read them or if you have any opinions on them, definitely let me know. That would be very, very helpful. The first one is Dune by Carrie Corp and Laurie Langdon. I know you guys are all gonna say to keep this though, but I just haven't really heard that great of things. I've heard really good things from some people, but I'm not sure if those people have the same taste in books as me so much, so I'm not too sure. I mean, the cover is really beautiful, so I do really want to keep it for that, but I don't know, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm not quite sure yet. Next is Entwined by Heather Dixon. This is another case of the cover being so beautiful that I've just been keeping the book, even though I haven't heard that great things about the contents of it. This is a fairy tale retelling though, so I think I might like it, but it's a pretty big book, so I think if I don't read it soon, then it's gonna have to go. I don't know. I think I need to force myself to start it and then see if I would like it. It just never really sticks out to me other than for its gorgeous cover. I don't know. Next is The Forsaken and The Uprising by Lisa M. Stoss. These books have been on my TBR since my very first book haul video, so they've been on my TBR for over a year. I think they've been on the longest, except for a couple other ones. Like Leviathan has been on there pretty long, but that's one that I think, like, I'm pretty positive I'm going to end up reading. These ones, I remember seeing them in the bookstore when they first came out, and I was really intrigued by like the cover and everything. I'm just not too sure if I do really want to read them. I don't know. Are they good? Are they worth the read? I don't know. Next is Milkweed by Jerry Spinelli. The plot of this one really intrigues me, but I mean, it is really short too. How long is it? It is, it's like 200 pages, so I'll probably keep this and just read it one day when I'm feeling kind of slumpy, maybe in a readathon or something. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know. Next is The Walled City by Ryan Grodin. I'm super torn about this one. I started it and I just couldn't really get into it, and I never ended up finishing it. I think I got like 40 pages in though, but I've heard really great things about it when it first came out. I just don't know if I would really like it. It's really intriguing, so like I'll probably keep it and try to read it soon. I don't know. Next is Venom by Fiona Paul. I bought a used copy of this and they sent me an ARC, so I'm kind of irritated about that. So I don't know if I'm gonna like rebuy it or maybe try and read it and then rebuy it in like a finished copy. Next is Pivot Point and Split Second by Casey West. I've heard pretty good things about this duology. I just never really, like, it never really sticks out to me to pick up on my shelf. So I don't really know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Next is The House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. Everyone who has read this had said fantastic things about it. I just haven't, like, it never sticks out to me on my shelf. And that's been happening a lot with a lot of the books on my TBR. They just don't really stick out to me, and like I don't really want to grab them and read them. So maybe, but also possibly not. I don't know. And the final two books are Ask the Passengers and Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. These ones I will probably keep because I've heard really great things about A.S. King. They're just another case of they've been on my shelf forever, but they never really like stick out to me and never really make it to my TBR, so I don't know. So yeah, those are all of the books that I'm planning on unhauling and possibly unhauling. Like I said, let me know about any of the books in the last part of the video, if you think I should keep them or get rid of them. I really am just very torn about it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!